77-bit is the new most typed crypto game and is a MMORPG 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦. And you can see by the gameplay why the people are so hyped about it. Amazing graphic, animation, gameplay and a lot more, and in today's video I will tell you everything that you need to know on 77-bit, starting from how to play the game, how to make the mission and even reaching how to earn into it, and even with some really good tips. So be sure to watch all the video, drop a like and subscribe to my channel, and now let's jump right into the ultimate beginner's guide to 77-bit. Okay guys, so the first thing that you will see after you will click the link that I will put down below in the description and in the comments will be this main page. This main page is where we farm the passive airdrop. So essentially you just click there and start mine, and every 8 hours you gotta come back, claim your points and re-click to mine. You can achieve multiple boosts, like for example for older NFT or just daily check-in, invite, wallet, missions. So all these boosts that you really want to do, because 7 times the boost it means that you earn 7 times what you are earning. Then there are the mission, the daily check-in, and as you can see now with the game going live there is even the battle pass. I even gave away 10 battle pass in my Discord for $500 worth of giveaway, so be sure to enter in my Discord. Essentially in the battle pass will guarantee you more bonuses, and as you can see each one have different mission for complete the level of the battle pass. Like for example this one is defeat 100 enemy in the darknet and so on. So the battle pass gives really huge amount of rewards, like for example this 27,000 bytes and boost. Having a battle pass is really important because gives you access to the game and really huge boost to your earning. So if you're serious about 77-bit, be sure to get a battle pass. So let's jump now into the real game. So how to play it? You just click here in the BitHub Play Free. Just by clicking that you will be in the lobby. So this is the lobby. As you can see this is my character with my name, my level, the level 30 is a maximum level, and then you can even choose other character if you have other characters, and you will just need to click play for enter inside the tutorial. The tutorial is pretty much straightforward, so I will not cover that, although if you need help even for that, be sure to enter in my Discord, because I will leave all this guide that you can see inside the Discord. So for example this one is how to complete the tutorial, and even this other about choosing a class or how to play 77-bit. And in the tutorial essentially you will try some gameplay basics and try all the 3 different classes that there are in 77-bit. Those 3 classes are the hacker, that is pretty much the rogue archetype, so solid damage and kinda fast, so you enter inside the fight, go away, make some damage and so on. Then there is the sentinel, that is a warrior archetype, so a bit more tanky, you have a big shield, you still make a solid amount of damage but is more tank oriented. And then there is the technomancer, that is pretty much the mage archetype as you can see, so it has a strong spell and so on. Already let's start with the first tip of this guide, which one I suggest you to utilize. So in my opinion the best one is the technomancer, at least for farm this airdrop, because essentially you farm the more points, so the more pixel, the more you kill the enemy. So have a big damage dealer like the technomancer with his skill will make you a lot faster to farm a lot more pixel. And if you choose another class, like for example me, as you can see I choose it as sentinel, don't worry, because actually inside this game, as we will see, the majority of the damage will come from your weapon. The class, it doesn't change a lot, it just changes some skills. So if you pick another class, don't worry, but if you still have to pick, I would pick, to be honest, the technomancer. And now guys, as you can see, we are finally inside the game. So where we are is the Byte City. So the first thing that you gotta know is that the game runs essentially in 4 different locations. The first one is the main city, where you do a lot of things, you power up, you do all the things, is pretty much your base. The second are the wild, so you can find mission there, you can find quests, you can even kill enemies or level up and get your XP and pixel. The third are the dungeons, so there are 2 dungeons, one easier and the other one harder, and inside the dungeon you can farm more XP compared to the wild, and most importantly even get a loot box for get a weapon that will be needed for upgrade your character and make it stronger. And the last location instead is the darknet. The darknet is like a survival location where you can level up and it will become harder and harder, and when you die you will lose all your points that you achieved in the darknet, while instead outside of the darknet, so in the normal game, when you die it pretty much doesn't happen anything. So first of all I want to analyze the UI, so the interface, for tell you everything. So starting from the bottom right we have pretty much the settings that you can move the voice, the volume and so on, but most importantly guys, this is a super important button that is like a teleport, and as you can see you will click that and after 10 seconds will teleport you at the last checkpoint. Why this is super important? Because guys, this is a beta, the game will get bugged. I got stuck so many times inside a random wall, and if you don't know that, even if you close the game and you reopen it, you are still inside the wall. So if you don't click that button, you will literally stay there forever. See, as you can see, I teleported there because this is like the check-in of the city, but even if I was even super far, I would have been teleported inside this zone. So that is really important, and those were the settings. Then the second button that you can see here are the mission, and guys, this is the second tip I will give you. The mission are super important. Those are the best way for level up and for farm the most pixel that, as we will see later, is essentially the money that you farm inside the game. So the more pixel, the better, and the best way for farm both pixel and your level is with the missions. Why is that? Because first of all, the further you go in the story and the further you go essentially in the map from the city, so the further you go, you get missions that give really huge rewards. Like for example, this one gives me 8300 pixel and 6000 XP. If you play the game, you know that 8300 pixel is huge. Like for get that much, you gotta kill like 100 of mob, so you can understand how making a mission of just killing 3 is a lot faster. So really important, guys, for speed up your progression inside the game, you want pretty much to follow the path of the mission, so do the most mission that you can always. Another super important tip about the quest is that you can abandon the quest. As you can see here, you just click here and you leave the quest. As you can see, abandon it. Why is this super important? Because sometimes the quest get bugged, or maybe the boss that you have to kill gets killed by another player, so you can leave the mission and then you go back to the guy that gave you the mission and he will re-give you that mission. Another important thing about the quest are the daily quests. So the daily quests are this kinda bluish quest, and those are pretty important to do in my opinion, because even if they give really few pixels and so on, they are really fast to do. You just have generally to bring one thing to another NPC and so on. They are really fast, and they give you even loot box with inside like healing and other various things. And another really important thing to do, guys, is even when you see like this kind of icon, it means that you can mine, or you can cut this tree, or you can fish a fish. To be honest, if I have to suggest you a thing, do that always, because in this way you will always have a lot of material, and guys, all this material will be useful for do missions, for do quests. So every time you see a blue thing like that, just click onto it, mine, cut that, and you will see that when you will get the mission where you have to give that resources, you will say thank you Meepo, and you will come back to this video for drop a like and subscribe to my channel. And the third button instead are like info of your character, so as you can see what you have equipped with even all the things that they bring to you. And then the second interface is the stats, and guys, the stats are really important because it's literally like what makes your character strong. And really important is that there are main stats and secondary stats. What that means? It means essentially that the power, you can think that is just a thing that make you make damage. The secondary stats, as you can see, is even physical defense and critical damage. So the main stats is the power, but the power conditionate your physical strength, physical defense, and even critical damage. So this means that if you raise your power, all these stats will rise. And as you can see, this is like a sort of a chart that you can see that my character essentially is really unlucky, like I am in my life, because you are not subscribing to my channel. And now subscribe to my channel or I will continue to be unlucky. And now let's go back to our stats. As you can see, there is then vitality, that is essentially health and even health regen. Pixel, that is pretty much the strength of your ability, so it's like magic power and magic defense. Then we have intellect for cooldown reduction and resources, agility for dodge chance and crit chance, and then luck for crit chance, dodge chance, and resistance. As you can see, some of these secondary stats even overlay in different primary stats. And then the last tab are the skill. So the skill are actually the only thing that differentiate a class with another. So the weapon, the damage, and so on is everything the same. The only thing that change for every class are the skill. And even inside the class, you can build your character in really different ways. As you can see, you can unlock a lot of different skills for your character, and you will have only a limited amount of points for unlock your skill, and you can't even go back. So what I suggest to you is really to take your time, read well those skills, because you really will regret if you unlock like some bad skill like I did. Like for example, this skill, if you have a sentinel, I really don't suggest you to activate this, because in my opinion weapon is pretty trash, be sure to read well the skill before you unlock them, because those are forever. And now let's go to the next button, that is this button that is essentially your inventory. So as you can see, the inventory is divided in 5 different ways. This is like things that you can equip, so the module, the armor, the bracelet, the weapon, and so on, and each of those will have their own stat. What I want to say about the weapon is don't focus just on the rarity, because for example this is highest rarity and makes a lot less damage than this weapon that is instead the lowest rarity, because there are 4 tiers of rarity where white is the lowest, then there is red, blue, and the highest rarity is purple. So be sure to not just focus on the rarity, actually read through the stats, because this weapon makes 160 damage when instead this one, even at higher rarity, makes 10 damage. So you can understand that there is a big difference. Then the second tab are the loot boxes, so boxes that essentially you can open, just right click and you can open. You get those from buying them, or you get them from mission, and so on. A lot of different ways, a lot of different loot boxes that gives a lot of different things, but you can even just open, and as you can see you will get the things in the log bottom left. So you can see, like for example, I got 2 dungeon ticket and 30 ramen. Nice, I like the ramen. And now let's go to the third tab, are instead like objects that you utilize for do some missions. So for example, like this love letter, I have to bring this love letter from one NPC to another NPC, so are like mission objects that you need to keep essentially for just make those missions. The fourth tab, other object that instead you utilizes for other things, can be even for mission, so for give to people, but as you can see there is a pickaxe, there are dungeon ticket, there are things for upgrade your weapon. It's kinda pretty miscellaneous this one, but are not consumable. So essentially are all the objects that are not consumable but not even related just to a mission. They can be both used in some mission, but even for upgrade your gear, or like for example dungeon ticket, the battle pass, so it's pretty various. And then the last one instead are the consumable. The consumable can be buff, can be healing, can be a lot of different things that you can just read through it for see what they do. And in the inventory there are even the currencies. So for example these are the pixels, that is essentially the currency that you farm inside the game. For example, I farmed 160,000 pixels inside the game in kinda around 1 hour. These are the bits, so the currency that you pay with your own money for then buy things in the premium shop, like for example the weapon and so on. And then there is the third currency that are the bytes. What are the bytes? Is the currency that you want at the end of this beta, because the top 5,000 people that have the most bytes will get the airdrop and the free land NFT. So essentially you're playing the game for get the most bytes possible. So you can convert your pixel into bytes from this guy. So you go to talk to this guy and you click currency exchange, and then here you can change your pixel to bytes. Like for example, I want to change all my pixel into bytes, and as you can see I farmed 80,000 bytes almost in 1 hour of gameplay. Is really huge. If you are farming 77-bit with BitHub, you know that 80,000 bytes are really huge. The conversion here depends from your multiplier that you have in the BitHub. So another time is really important to raise those multiplier and even have the battle pass, because another time I have the battle pass, and without the battle pass this will be 1/3 of what it is. So it's really a really big difference. And now the next button is a map, but as you can see the map doesn't work, and that is a really big problem about this game, because the map is really important inside this game. Don't worry, because about that I have actually a huge tip that will speed up a lot your progression inside the game, and I will tell you that in few minutes after I completed this UI overview. Then the last button is like a friend button, so for add friend and so on, but it doesn't even work right now, so don't even bother about that. The next button is the shop button. You can buy a lot of things there essentially just by paying with your hard cash. To be honest, if you end up buying something, the first thing that you should buy is the battle pass. Obviously the battle pass is super OP because it gives you to all the earning that you will get from this airdrop 3 times. So if you get like $1, it would be $3 and so on. So it's really crazy. It gives you even boost inside the game, other things. So if you buy just one thing, it should be the battle pass. Another time, guys, I gave away 10 battle pass for $500 in my Discord, so be sure to enter. And after the battle pass, to be honest, even the weapons are pretty good, because with those weapons you will speed up a lot your progression and your grind inside the game. So if you are serious about grinding the game, buy 1, 2, 3 loot boxes for get a solid weapon, can really speed up 2, 3, 4 times your progression inside the game. Okay, we are almost done with the UI interface. So this is my character, this is the level. As you can see, level 30 is the maximum, and this is the XP for the next level. Obviously, since it's the maximum level is 9999 because it's like unreachable. If it was like level 20, I would have like had 10,000 there, for example. And then next to the character, as you can see, there are all the skill. So they are Shift, Q, E, R, and you can just, for example, this is my Shift, so my class ability, we could say that is like a shield, and then there are other abilities, and then there is the space that is like a dash that every class has, but some classes bigger dash, some have teleport, and so on. And then there are the left attack that is like a faster attack, and then the right attack that is like a charged attack. And then at the end we have the 1 and the 2 that are for the consumable. For example, there I have healing, and there I have attack boost, and you can even click into them for utilize them. Then the last thing at the bottom left, we have the chat. It is actually pretty important for see what you get from the things. So when you kill things, when you open box, there you can see a lot of things, and you can even talk with other people like hi broski, and it will go essentially in the main chat, and as you can see even there in a chat box, so you can go next to a guy and talk. Okay, so those were really the basics, but now let's go into some tip for really fast up your progression inside the game. So the first thing that is super important is an interactive map. So what is an interactive map? Is essentially this map is literally an interactive map. So this is super important because guys, if you play the game, or still if you still have to play the game, you will find a lot of problem because a lot of mission will like say go to this guy saying his name, but obviously you don't know where that guy is inside the game because you don't know all the name of all the people and so on. So this interactive map will help you a lot. Like for example, the first mission is there and is Tears on Chain, and for example you will have to go to different people and so on that you don't know where they are. So you just click where you start the mission, you open the mission like I did, and then you click on the various passage, like for example talk to the Nexus, and see they tell you where you have to go, and then after you talk to the Nexus you click next step and they tell you where you have to go. So like for example is there, then next step and is in another floor, they even tell you the floor, like go to the second floor into this door and so on. So this interactive map will really speed up your progression. Like guys, if you play the game you know how hard it is actually to find all the things for do this mission, and with this map you will go really super fast. So if you want this map, another time is in my Discord in the 77-bit chat, and as you can see the map doesn't stop only to Byte City, but it actually goes all the various map that you can find in the game, even until the last one. This is literally the last one that you can reach in this beta, and there is even this one with even the mission here. So what you have to do, you just click the mission, open the mission, and it tells you what you have to do. Guys, this map will speed up really a lot, so I really suggest you to utilize this. And since this will speed up hours on your gameplay, you should drop a like and subscribe to my channel, because I mean I just saved hours of your life, so you can at least drop a like and subscribe to my channel. And now let's go to check even the other things that you may need inside the city, that is pretty much the base of your gameplay. Here there is 𝗟𝗡𝗏, that is pretty much the girl that give you the most mission inside the city. Then here, as we said, there is the guy that changed the pixel into bytes and even open your gacha box. So essentially what are the gacha box? Are this box with the 77 on top that are box that inside have things, so weapon that you can get only in 2 ways inside this game. So there are no more ways for get weapon inside this game or armor and so on. One, you buy them, so you buy bits, the hard currency, and with that you buy in the shop. The second way is from dungeon. So there are 2 different dungeons inside the game, and I will show you both right now. But essentially inside this dungeon, when you kill the boss, they will drop a gacha box. So that is the only way for get more weapons. So I truly suggest you to farm those dungeons, even because they will give you a lot of bytes and weapons, so you can essentially make more damage and farm even more. So really the dungeons are super important. You need a dungeon ticket for entering inside a dungeon, but guys, don't worry, you will have a lot of those. So where are the dungeons? That is really important, a lot of people don't know. So going back to our interactive map in the Technogrove, so essentially the first phase where you find a lot of mission outside the city, this one is the first dungeon. As you can see, this cave there is the first dungeon, and then the second and the last dungeon will be in the last map, that is this one, and this in this cave. So you just enter and you make the dungeon, there is the big boss, you kill the boss and you get your new fancy weapon. And after you got your box, you go from this guy, you put your box essentially here and you open it, and then you get your weapon, and obviously you hope that it is good. For example, in this case is pretty shit. This is not a optional case, but as you can see you get even more dungeon tickets, so you really can farm dungeon really a lot. Then another important guy in the city is this guy that essentially gives give you consumables, so you can buy healing, you can buy power up, you can buy a lot of different things even there. And then there is this guy that essentially give you weapon, so you can buy weapon there, but to be honest all these weapons are pretty bad, so I would not buy this weapon, at least if you still have a better weapon. And then there is this guy that essentially sell you various things like cheap and other things, but the most important in my opinion is instead this guy. So here is where you bring your weapon to power up. To be honest, power up is pretty pricey, so you want to power up a weapon that you are sure that you will level up for a lot, you will utilize for a lot. So obviously if you have a weapon and you see that you need to power up even that, you want to keep your resources for buff a really good weapon, so you can go end game with that. As you can see, when you power up the weapon it gets 3 damage, but it can only go up until level 10, and then after the level 10, as you can see, you can reforge it. So what does the reforging? Essentially you risk it, so you can even lose the reforge, and you use this particular item that are like this kind of module, and you can even risk it. Like for example, there is even a chance that it makes the error, but if you get the reforge, the weapon will become stronger, and then from here each level will buff a lot more. So as you can see, this one, each level went from 3 to 9, so now every level that you will get until level 10 will get instead 9 damage instead of 3. So as you can understand, the reforge is a bit risky, but is at the same time really strong. So what you want to do inside 77-bit is essentially to farm the most minion, but most importantly the most mission. So in this way you level up a lot faster until level 30, you get a lot of pixels that you can change then into your bytes. That is essentially the end game currency that you want to forget the airdrop. And guys, the last thing that you need to know is the darknet. And after you made your quest, you got your pixel, you got your XP, you reached the level 30, you then can even enter inside the darknet. You just go and you can even talk there, forget your mission for the darknet, and then you talk with this computer and essentially enter inside the darknet. So this is the darknet. As you can see, there you will enter inside it. You can even talk with this guy. In the darknet you will get these essentially darknet points with which you can buy other things, like as you can see, armor, weapon, all the kind of things, and they are a lot stronger than the normal. So what you want to do is even to farm the darknet, get to those points, and then with your higher gear go in the wild, farm the dungeon, the monster, then quest, and then earn a lot of pixel that you can change to bytes for essentially got to the top 5000 of bytes and get your airdrop. This was the ultimate beginner's guide to 77-bit. Now I will go back to the game and start to kill my mob because I gotta grind the game, and I suggest you to do so. If you liked the video and it was helpful, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel because it does help me a lot. Go check this video about the top 5 play to earn games that you need to play right now for earn the most money. And fun fact, there is even 77-bit inside it. Die!